Alright fellas, so I got this heater hose that I have to install. Here's the part number. I think I got it on eBay if I'm not mistaken. But this hose, this specific hose, it runs, I know it's kind of dark and all these shadows, but hopefully you can see. See this hose right here? This is the lower radiator hose that runs to the bottom of the radiator, and right next to it, man, I wish I had more light. Right next to it is a outlet, a little bypass or a little side outlet that this end connects to, and it runs right underneath the intake, and it plugs into the intake, and from there it's like it tees off, and another hose continues from the other end of that little T or whatever you call that little outlet, and it flows into your heater core. But anyway, the original one developed a nice sizable tear, and so we're gonna replace that. I'm gonna try to anyway. I gotta set the phone up real quick. So it's up not on spot, I have to remove this hose. This is standard. You're not have access to the other thing off. So, but yeah, there's a very little space around this one. So yeah, it's well. Probably won't move there. Also, I'm not sure what it is. So that's so this is pretty cool. I have a little bit of using that fluid. This all over the engine. It's all here. All here. But I'm changing the belt. Just like move I'm going to access. I'm access to instrument. This will be from access. Because usually later I plug up into the this was the off the outlet. Okay, hopefully you guys can see this. And this is what I ended up having to do. Is when I stopped at O'Reilly's. It was the closest place. When this is part of the original hose when it failed. I couldn't find the right size at O'Reilly's, so I just rigged up what they had there. They had these plugs. And I'm assuming these little, they're like, I think they're called like bypasses. I'm not exactly sure of the names. But anyway, I essentially used all of this to plug this in on this side, and used another one, pretty much the same thing, underneath the intake. This one was this one was really tough to get to. Pain in the ass. Okay. This is a pain in the ass, but I had to completely remove the top radiator hose, as well as the I don't know if you guys can see that from your angle. Yeah, you can. The temperature and temperature sender sensors, I had to unplug those as well, because everything was just in the way, and there's almost very little room to get under there, get your hands under there. And we need every spare inch we can muster. just have to wait for it to get the temperature. Get the thermostat open. See how that hose holds up after that. It's gonna take a little while though, because the weather's already cooled down. It's already like in the 60s and in the 40s at night, so it's gonna take that a while to even rise up. So I'll be back as soon as that. I think the highest it'll be in like the 150 degree range. Not much more than that. Okay, it took a little while, but she got to 142 degrees. She's roughly staying at that. Like I said, it's the weather's getting cold. I mean, I don't feel it right now, but I was watching the fluid once the thermostat actually opened, and everything is flowing pretty good. No leaks so far. The reason I could have just left those plugs that I rigged up on either end. I could have just left the truck like that, but again, it's pretty much winter for us, and to the mornings it's in the 40s. So when that hose, that heater hose, it gave out like 2 weeks ago. So I ordered that new one that we just installed. It arrived last week, and the only time I had to install it was this weekend. So anytime I'm driving, since there's no since those outlets were plugged, there was no radiator fluid circulating through the heater core, which meant no heat in the truck. But now we got heat, so that's a plus. That's the other reason I wanted to do that. See that the temperature's pretty steady at that, so I'm content with that. So again, the reason I use these plugs or fashioned them, this is what's left of the original hose, this portion. And again, since O'Reilly's, that's sometimes I'm fairly lucky when stuff kind of fails on me. I'm really close to home or close to an auto parts store, and I was really close to O'Reilly's when I noticed that this hose was leaking. So I hauled butt to O'Reilly's, and even though they didn't have the right size hose, they didn't have this hose at all. Even when I tried to order it, like physically order it from them, they didn't have it. But so I rigged up and bought all these different caps and little bypasses and clamps, and just capped those two ends. And again, I could have just left it like that. If it was summertime, I could have left it like that, and I'm not worried about it, because summers are pretty hot. But wintertime, and it's really nice to have the heater. So as always, I don't want to make this longer than it already is, and it's pretty long. So hopefully that'll, if you happen to run through the same thing and you're not able to, like the auto parts store that has, that you happen to be at, or you can't find it online, and you need to be able to, like, at least get home or get where you're going, and you're near an auto parts store and they happen to have, you know, clamps and these little caps and bypasses that you can snag, you know, at least that'll give you an option. That way you can get home. But again, here's the part number for the actual hose. And again, depending on your situation, again, I have the Weber carb, so and since I installed the power steering and all these other sensors, it's gotten pretty crowded there. If the power steering wasn't there or any of that, I'd have been able to, it'd have been so much easier to get to that hose and remove it and install the new one. But you know, so I had to remove certain things to get them out of the way. Had to jack up the truck from this side so that the radiator fluid, you know, the truck leans at this angle, and the fluid would tend to, you know, settle this way versus over here when I open the hoses, and I'll get all this fluid leaking onto the alternator, which is not a good thing. So also what I did is I heated up the ends of that hose so they would get a little bit more soft and pliable, and made it a little bit easier to slide them into the outlets. I still had to muscle it, and again, that's the tough part, because there's so little room, and I'm not exactly a big guy, but it's still a tight. It's hard to get any real leverage, you know, to use the strength in your hands or whatever. So, but either way, it's still doable. But again, you know, hopefully this will help you guys out, and I'll see you.